I'd like to take a moment to let you all know about a new non-profit organization started by my brother Craig. It's called Treats and Truth. They fill oversized brown lunch bags with snack items, chips, crackers, popcorn, cookies, etc. Also, a bottle of water, toothbrush, toothpaste, sanitary wipes, and most importantly, a small gospel-tract book of John. No cigar? I'll have to talk to him about that. The bags are then hand-delivered to the homeless and people in need in and around the Los Angeles area. Let's help get this ministry off the ground. They're a 501c3 tax-exempt organization, so any and all donations are tax-deductible and greatly appreciated. Visit their website at treatsandtruth.org. Check out the show notes for the link. Also, please follow them on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you. Welcome to episode 89 of the Burning Bush podcast, where we share the message of the Bible while enjoying a good cigar. Hope you're doing well, and I'm glad you've joined me today. This week, we continue reading through Dr. Justin Bass's book, The Bedrock of Christianity, The Unalterable Facts of Jesus' Death and Resurrection, and I'm smoking the CAO Gold Robusto 5.5 by 50. So let's go on over to the CAO website and see what they have to say about this. Don't be fooled by CAO Gold's gorgeous blonde Ecuadorian Connecticut seed wrapper. This cigar packs plenty of flavor, earning it many devoted disciples, including some of the industry's top publications, which have awarded CAO Gold multiple 90 ratings and a status as one of the best cigars in the world, celebrated for its sweet, herbal earthiness and notes of pepper, cocoa bean, leather, and roasted nuts. And the wrapper, like I said, is Ecuadorian Connecticut. Binder and filler are both Nicaraguan. It is a mellow to medium-bodied smoke, and suggested drink pairings are aged rum and latte. And the tasting notes are nut, earth, pepper, and cocoa. And the vitolas are double Corona, 7.5 by 54, Churchill, 7 by 48, Corona Gorda, 6.5 by 50, Torpedo, 6.25 by 52, Corona, 5.5 by 42, Robusto, 5 by 50, and the minis, which are 3.5 by 20. That is the CAO Gold. So let's go ahead and get back into this week's reading of Dr. Justin Bass's book, The Bedrock of Christianity. The title of this week's section is Continuing Influence. Christianity's dominant influence did not end with the Roman Empire, the British Empire, or even with its present decline in Europe and America. The ideas of nobility and suffering, humility as a virtue, human rights, focus on the poor and the outcast, and the equality of all human beings are still taken for granted by billions of people across the world to this day. These ideas do not find their foundation in Hinduism, Buddhism, or Islam, but predominantly in Judaism and Christianity. As historian and agnostic Tom Holland says, today, even as belief in God fades across the West, the countries that were once collectively known as Christendom continue to bear the stamp of the 2 millennia-old revolution that Christianity represents. It is the principal reason why, by and large, most of us who live in post-Christian societies still take for granted that it is nobler to suffer than to inflict suffering. It is why we generally assume that every human life is of equal value. In my morals and ethics, I have learned to accept that I am not Greek or Roman at all, but thoroughly and proudly Christian. According to Pew Research, Christianity will still be the largest religion in the world in 2050, with Islam a close second. Although atheism and agnosticism are rising in America and Europe, they will make up a declining share of the world's population. In spite of growing secularism in the West, the future of the world is religious, and all the evidence suggests that around a third of the world will still be followers of the crucified Nazarene for the rest of this century and beyond. In fact, as Tim Keller says regularly, Christians today, on average, are non-Western and non-white. Most live in Africa, Latin America, and Asia. In 1900, Christians made up 9% of Africa's population. Now Christianity comprises around half of the continent of Africa. This same explosive growth is happening in China. China is on course to have more Christians than any other nation, and we might even see a Chinese Constantine arise one day soon. According to a 2000 Pew Forum report, mainland China has roughly 67 million Christians, representing about 5% of the country's total population. The general consensus among scholars of religion in China is that Christianity has grown substantially during the past 3 decades. It is too soon to know, however, whether Christianity's growth has peaked or will continue in the years ahead. Whichever turns out to be the case, the religious future of the world's most populous country will have a major impact not only on Christianity, but on other religious traditions as well. If the growth of Christianity does remain the same, by 2050, China could have 500 million Christians. How will 500 million Chinese Christians change the course of human history? Other small religions in China, such as Taoism and Confucianism, may follow the same path as the gods of Egypt, Greece, and Rome. They may disappear. It is undeniable that this movement of the Nazarenes is still influencing nations and the world globally. But what about on the individual level? If Jesus rose from the dead and is still alive, it seems reasonable to expect him to be transforming lives throughout history and across the world. The daily experience of billions in our world involves the crucified Nazarene, not only those who are already following him, but also skeptics and even enemies. And that's the end of this week's reading of Dr. Justin Bass's book, The Bedrock of Christianity. Be sure to check out the show notes for links to Dr. Bass's website, as well as this week's cigar. And also in the show notes are links to Treats and Truth Ministry, where you can get involved in helping to spread the gospel to and be a blessing to the homeless. Groundworks Ministries for daily Bible studies and devotionals. And the Burning Bush merchandise store, where you can pick up some items to help spread the word about the show. And I'd appreciate it if you would tell your friends. So until next week, have a great day, have a great cigar, and God bless.